now we have Kristian Luoma from Finland. Wow, we're Nordic heavy today with financial services. Okay, great. And he's going to talk about Pivo, the mobile wallet solution. So, all yours.
Okay, very good, thank you. Hi, my name is Kristian Luoma, and I indeed come from the north, hence the flu, sorry about that. And as I'm the last speaker before your lunch, sorry about that, I'll try to keep my share of the time. I'll be explaining the name Pivo further down the road. I know that it means beer, so let's not start with that. I'll do my best in narrating the story of how we decided to create our mobile wallet. And the story began some 18 months ago. And for the context, it is good to know that we are the largest Finnish bank in the world, namely in Finland, and serving only customers of our region, of course. We are a market leader in many of the product categories of financial services, but we also have done some innovative stuff in the past and in the current as well. So we were the first European online bank to go live. What's interesting in op-pohjola group is also the interest towards mobile as a platform. 2 years ago, op-pohjola set up this remote site to Oulu, where I'm from, and the sole purpose was to solve some of the new issues that we are facing with mobile. And as you may know, Oulu is a city of former Nokia fame, so there's plenty of Nokia designers and engineers to go about, and at the heart of those people, the site for the finance company mobile branch was created. One of the questions that we faced very quickly when we started working our time in the finance industry was, how should we deal with the mobile payments? We've all seen the headlines of different initiatives being launched here and there, and it's an interesting question. And to put that question into a right context, we started to think about our role between the consumer and the retailer when goods have been exchanged to money. And it became very obvious that as a bank, we probably have the most mindshare to lose if mobile payments or mobile wallets starts to go into a direction that is not of our preference. And that's why we started a project. And in the beginning of the project, we made a few strategic choices. The first one was related to the outset of the market. So we looked at the different initiatives about payments and mobile shopping and mobile commerce around the world. And it became very clear to us that the problem of mobile payments was either non-existent or it hadn't been clearly defined. So we really wanted to focus on nailing the actual problem and finding the problem before implementing a solution. Secondly, we understood that mobile payments or mobile shopping, whatever the problem would be and whatever the solution would be, relates to that moment behind the counter and before it. And we wanted to provide a total solution, just like we've been doing up until this date. We've been providing acquiring services for retailers, and we've been providing cards and payment methods for the consumers. And we wanted to focus that in the future solution, we would also take care of both. Especially because of the fact that we should consider that retailers are likely to be the most important go-to-market channel for any mobile wallet or mobile payments product. So that's why we actually chose to go with a different brand than our own, because we firmly believed that the mobile wallet per region should be an open initiative that all retailers and banks should join and take part of. During the project that we undertook, we had pretty much the same challenges that were highlighted by the Sparbank today. So we had a bit of a communication problem, and we had a problem of proving our findings. In addition to service design methods, we applied lean startup methods, something that is very well known in the startup community. We wanted to explore the usefulness of it in an internal project. And just like in service design and just like in Lean Startup, we conducted a lot of problem interviews and solution interviews and tried to really figure out what were the real problems of consumers as well as the retailers. And after those interviews, we actually did a web questionnaire that would provide sort of the quantitative backbone for our learnings. And we did this through web forms once we had clarified the right questions to ask. Also, we used extensively different sorts of prototypes, ugly and good-looking prototypes. But what was interesting was that we found videos to be very, very powerful and important ways to communicate and prototype. So we essentially created and crafted these experience prototypes that were videos shot and edited by our team. And they were very, very useful for communicating this idea that we wanted to bring to life, both internally as well as externally, to the consumers that we were interviewing or to the partners that we wanted to work with. And during that concepting process, we came across with 3 insightful findings. The first one was related to the actual problem of payments. If consumers would have to choose between using their existing cards and mobile as a payment method, it became very, very obvious that the current plastic cards are more prevailing option. They are safer, they are faster, and they are easier to use, or at least perceived to be as one. So that provided a sort of a problem, but also an opportunity for us to solve the mobile wallet or mobile payment issue in a different way. We decided that we shouldn't try to first replace the plastic card. We should rather try to enhance it. And that led us to thinking about other actual consumer problems while shopping. And we were astonished to find this one to be one of the #1 problems that consumers were facing. They couldn't know simply how much money they would have left if they would make the purchase. So we decided that we should make the balance a killer feature or #1 priority feature for the mobile wallet. Also, we came across to learning that consumers were complaining about the number of loyalty cards. Nobody wants to have yet another loyalty card in their wallets. And this was probably the one justification that explains why people want to push the mobile payments first into a mobile app, because we came to realizing that transaction itself could be set as a platform for gaining those loyalty points. So we figured that if consumers still want to hold on to their existing cards, we could also use those transactions as a platform for the loyalty transactions. Once we started actually implementing the project, we stumbled upon a lot of different design challenges. One was finding the proper brand, once we were agreeing to the fact that it should be distant from our own banking brand so that anybody could use it. And we finally came up with the name Pivo. And yes, it means beer, but it also is an ancient word of Finnish, meaning to hold or to store. So in that sense, for our market, it was the perfect candidate for a name for a product that would store and hold different services. We also fought hard with the navigation of the application. We wanted to make it very right for the wealth of information that people would have to handle through that. We started with the sidebar navigation and went towards more flipboard-like navigation, and finally ended up into a top hot corner navigation where when you press the corner, a stack of cards unfolds. And we think that it provided certain lightness to the whole navigation paradigm that we like. And lastly, I suppose the challenge always in a design project or a creation process of a new product is to reduce the content. And I'm pretty happy with the amount of information we cut it down to. So this is the first view that you see in the Pivo mobile wallet application once you open it. It shows you the current balance and nothing more. And behind the hot corner, there's the additional information. And this really struck as one of those simplified tools that will help consumers in the problems that we discovered. And this entire project ran in sprints of 3 months. So in the first 3 months, we made the strategic choices after analyzing the market. Then we did the consumer interviews and validated the problems and solutions we found through prototypes. And after that, we were already internally piloting the product. And soon after that, we were able to go into a public beta. And now, 3 months ago, we were able to start accepting real users into the product. And this was done by the internal team of the bank. But what was interesting and striking to me is that through the methods of lean as well as service design, already very early at the concepting phase, we were able to see the signs that if we go this route, then the concept will likely succeed, because we were able to validate our hypothesis in a very, very quick way. So what did we actually build? I'll show you the 3 fundamental features or foundation features of our mobile wallet, which I think are the features that we can easily extend and introduce the other value-added services and the payment services later on. First and foremost, as said, we wanted to make the balance the killer feature. So you see, by pressing a 4-number PIN code, you're able to log into the application, and the application greets you with a message saying that you're over or under your daily average consumption. And then what you see there is this nice, beautiful graph, and at the end of the graph, there's a chart explaining your consumption patterns based on categories. And it actually forecasts into the future based on your past consumption, allowing you to see when you hit rock bottom before your payday. And we've also been able to enhance the actual transaction information by analyzing the transactions themselves and connecting them into Yellow Page directory information. So essentially, as said, we've been able to make the transaction a platform component for the retailers and the bank experience to integrate. Also, what's a key feature in our product is the fact that you get the real-time push notification once you swipe the card. And we are able to achieve this in 1/3 of all of the transactions that are completed with the cards. And this brings the mobile application into the context of the purchase. So that really helps making those building blocks that can be useful for both retailers as well as consumers. And we've also already seen some success. 20 different chains have decided to join forces, retailers in Finland, and we are able to connect their branding and the business information in real time when the consumer completes the transaction. And that helps consumers' lives because they can quickly go through the transactions and access the business information. And later on, if they would have loyalty programs, the information could be there as well. So the 3 features that we are planning for the future, first of all, expanding on the retailer service. So why, if we are able to capture the transaction in real time, why shouldn't that be a foundation for digital stamp books? Why shouldn't we convert the loyalty programs so seamless that you don't even have to show the information? Secondly, of course, we are bound to introduce some form of payments, whether that's remote or proximity. We will have to see how that works, especially because of the turn-off signals that we got from the consumers in the early interviews. Obviously, we are open to introducing this service to other banks in any means necessary, and we are having fruitful conversations about that topic and seeing how that turns out. Some of the results that we gained so far through our short product life cycle is, first of all, great feedback. It pays off to ask consumers what they want, clearly. Our first 40 reviews in the App Store were all 5-star ratings, and we were obviously thrilled about that. We haven't officially started to do the marketing communications for even our customers, but we are consistently seeing this being the #1 free downloaded finance application in our region, which is pretty fun. But what's important for us from the get-go was to create an application that would be used frequently in the context of shopping. And looking at the numbers of use, 1/3 of the users are using it daily and 2/3 are using it weekly, I think we are on to something. Maybe 3 closing thoughts before the questions. So what we learned throughout our process was that really that service design / lean startup means, whichever you prefer, they really work. So we were able to cut corners and save money and be more efficient in about finding the actual solution that consumers would use. Secondly, in an organization like ours, where it is really important to be able to internally communicate your ideas, we found that making those videos for internal use were really useful. So we made tens of them after each step that we took in the project, and they were really liked in all levels of the organization. And thirdly, about the domain of mobile wallets, we don't know obviously whether we've nailed the mobile wallet, and the definition of mobile wallet surely entitles some form of payment as well. But I don't think it's settled what the mobile wallet will be. But one thing that I think mobile wallet will definitely be is a platform for retailer and bank provided experience to meet. Thank you.
Very on time.
Okay.
Fantastic. Great. So, questions for Kristian? Anyone? Thomas?
Sorry, me again. We work a lot with retail, and I've had some IT background. Have you had concerns of retail about the app? I can see a scenario in my head, and I start shaking, where I see a girl standing in a store scanning an item, and the account says, no, you cannot afford this. But here you have it online, and here you can buy it because it's $50 cheaper.
Yeah, of course that's a question that is brought up at times, but then there's the counter-truth that we also carry credit cards, and we seldomly see that we have credit line available. And of course for those payment instruments, the application makes it very visible that you have 5,000 euros to spend. But yes, that dialogue every now and then happens with the retailers, and I think it's good for both the consumer and the retailer to give the tools to optimize spending when available. Like it's not always the case of I don't have enough money. It's sometimes that I do, but I'm too cautious to make the decision to buy. So it works both ways.
Okay. Good. Matthias?
First, thanks for your unique approach to the mobile wallet problem. One question, can you say something about the business model, the revenue streams, and what's the model about to share the revenue streams with other banks and your competition?
Yeah, that's of course a tricky bit. Anybody who has been working or thinking about mobile wallets or mobile payments should know that there's very little money on the table. The only potential revenue streams that I can foresee of are related to advertising or retailer visibility in a means or another. Of course, for us, this was fundamentally a business case of trying to provide the best possible customer experience in mobile for the consumers of our bank who are shopping. And so far, that has been enough business case. But I'm sure there will be a time when the collaboration with the retailers becomes a one with a fee.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.